In this video, we're going to write and solve a system of linear equations based on a described scenario. We're told that a soccer team purchases t-shirts for its 20 soccer players. Each player can either choose a short-sleeve t-shirt for $17.50 or a long-sleeve t-shirt for $24. The total bill is $428. We're then asked how many short-sleeve t-shirts were purchased and how many long-sleeve t-shirts were purchased. To get started, we'll define our variables as our very first step. And the variables we use will be determined by the questions we're asked and the things that we need to find. So to start, we need to know how many short-sleeve t-shirts and how many long-sleeve t-shirts. So let's take S. We'll say let S be the number of short-sleeve t-shirts purchased. And then let's use L to be the number of long-sleeve t-shirts purchased. So we'll say let L be the number of long-sleeve t-shirts purchased. Now that we have our variables defined, we're going to look to write two equations using these two variables. We'll go back to the information given to determine each of these equations. The first one is going to be based on the total number of t-shirts purchased, which we know, since each player chooses one, and there's 20 players, that the total for S and L, the number of short-sleeve t-shirts and the number of long-sleeve t-shirts, needs to be 20. So our first equation we can write as S plus L equals 20. For our second equation, we're going to use the total bill. So we see that the total bill is $428. So we know that that total has to equal $428. And from that, we'll look at determining the amount of the bill for the short-sleeve t-shirts, which will be $17.50 times S, since each is costs $17.50. And then we'll add 24L, since each long-sleeve t-shirt costs $24. So that gives us our system. Now to solve this, we'll use an algebraic method, and we could use elimination if we wanted. We could also use substitution. Here, let's practice using the elimination method. To do that, we're going to need one of these variables to eliminate when we add each side of the equation. So we have 17.5s and 24l in our second equation, and that first equation has just s and l. So we will build that first equation. We'll build up equation 1 so that after we add the left-hand side and the right-hand side, one of our variables is eliminated. We can choose whether we build this first equation to have negative 17.5s or negative 24l. We'll choose negative 24l simply because fewer decimals will probably be easier to solve with. So we'll multiply that left side by negative 24, and then we'll multiply the right side by negative 24 as well. And that'll give us an equivalent equation that will work well to eliminate that variable. So on the left side, we have negative 24 times that quantity s plus l, and on the right side, we have negative 24 times 20. When we simplify that equation, the left side will be negative 24s minus 24l, and the right side will be negative 480. At this point, we have that first equation written in a form that we can now add with the second equation in order to have an equation in one variable. So we're now ready to eliminate. So we will take that negative 24s minus 24l, and then let's add that 17.5s plus 24l. And on the right-hand side, we're going to have negative 480, and then we'll add 428. This will leave us with negative 6.5s on the left. Negative 24l and positive 24l equal 0, but negative 24s and positive 17.5s equal negative 6.5s. And that is equal to negative 52, which is on our right side. To finish solving this equation, we can simply divide each side by negative 6.5s. So we'll have negative 6.5s divided by negative 6.5 equal to negative 52 divided by negative 6.5. And when we calculate that, we'll find that s is equal to 8. Now that we have s, we can go back to one of our original equations and find the value of L. So now we can find L, and we can do that since we know that s plus L is equal to 20. So 8 plus L is equal to 20. And then from there, we can determine that L is then equal to 12. So therefore, L equals 12. Now we can summarize our results. There were 8 short-sleeve t-shirts purchased, and 12 long-sleeve t-shirts purchased. As a final step, we'll want to check s equals 8 and L equals 12 into each of those original equations. So checking our first one, that one's very straightforward. We're just checking that s plus L equals 20. So we're checking 8 plus 12, yes, that equals 20. Our second check, we need to check, we'll plug in s equals 8 and L equals 12 into that 17.5s plus 24L equals 428. So we're checking 17.5 times 8 plus 24 times 12, and we're going to check if that equals 428. Finishing that calculation, we see that we're checking if 140 plus 288 equals 428, and indeed it does.